It's gonna seconds. I'm sorry, y'all. You see, you over. All right, cool. All right, thanks.
Go ahead, sir. Thank you.
All right, we're good.
All right, everybody. Listen, I have as much information as you do at this point. At approximately 7 p.m., we have multiple shots fired at this location. A call came over to MPD for shots fired. They responded to this location. Shots went into the courtyard. A 7-year-old female was struck by gunfire. There's no indication of shots being fired back at the vehicles, so it was on this block. The 7-year-old was shot in the chest. She is in critical but stable condition at a local hospital, and they're currently working on her. At this point, investigators are conducting their neighborhood canvass, looking at video, conducting witness interviews, and the investigation continues. So no further information at this time, but if anybody out there knows any information they can pass on to us, please do so at 202-727-9099, or you can then text that information anonymously to 50411. We're asking the public's assistance in this investigation. It's very tragic that a 7-year-old gets shot at this time and this day in this courtyard while riding a scooter. I find that unacceptable, and we're asking the public's help to bring these perpetrators or several perpetrators to justice. Thank you very much. I'll take any questions at this point.
That was going to be the question. What was the little girl doing out here? I know you just answered that question, but also, what was going on with this gunfire? Were there groups shooting back and forth, or what do you think was happening? Someone fired from a car?
There's no indication of groups shooting back and forth. At this point, we're trying to ascertain if the gunfire emanated from a vehicle or on foot or a combination of both. But at this point, there's no indication of shots coming back toward this location.
And you believe that she was hit unintentionally?
I mean, at this point, it seems to be that way. She was on a scooter. She was playing next to her family. There's no indication that she was the intended victim.
Was she hit multiple times?
Unclear at this point, but we'll ascertain that information and pass that along.
It seems like there have been a number of kids that have been shot in recent weeks and in recent months. What do you say to folks out there and who are noticing this trend? Do you have numbers, particularly about what's been going on in the district?
I don't have numbers right at hand, but that type of conduct, I mean, we're asking for people for calm. At this point, you know, COVID has been in our lives for the last year. If there's any tempers that are flaring or any arguments that need to be settled, we ask them to be done peaceably and amicably. Conversation and socialization is the answer, not violence. Especially when unintended victims get caught up in the crossfire. That's unacceptable. So we're asking everybody in our community to exercise some calm and some patience and to talk these things through. And as a community, we need to come together on that.
You talk about COVID-19, but also the summer as well is coming up, and we know that that's typically when violence does increase. You have concerns about that?
Every year we do. The Summer Crime Initiative starts next week. Something we're looking at to just quell the violence in a multitude of ways. And it's not just enforcement. It's our building blocks program. It's working with the mayor's office. It's looking at all things to try to quell the violence and institute peace in the community.
You can't help but see all the markers on the street behind you. Can't even count how many at this point. Was there a lot of gunfire? And I had heard that there were a lot of shots being fired in this area. Was this the only shooting? And tell us about that. Was this multiple guns?
At this point, there are multiple rounds fired. And so the investigation's trying to ascertain how many guns were fired from this location, how many different types of calibers, and how many rounds were actually recovered.
Do you think it was more than one weapon
at this point, ma'am? We're just trying to work that out. Yep.
To be clear, no information about any kind of vehicle or no lookout information for any.
We do not have a lookout at this time, and again, we're asking for the public's help to try to figure that part out.
Any potential video cameras?
We're doing our video cameras. We're doing our witness interviews right now, so the investigation continues.
Were there a lot of people outside, potential witnesses?
I mean, obviously, the 7-year-old was out there with family members, and so they were enjoying the night, and they were the unintended victims of this particular shooting.
Thank you.
One question I have real quick, there was 2 individuals over there, 2 males, and they were handcuffed. Is that any relation?
I can't expand upon that right now.
I didn't know if
we'll let our investigators do their job and try to put that all together.
Just want to see if
is anyone in custody in connection with this incident?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Thanks so much. Can you say and spell your name for me?
It's Ashan Benedict, Benedict.
And title?
I'm the Executive Assistant Chief of Police.
Will there be any more updates tonight?
Probably not tonight. We're trying to work through this scene and try to get us as much information as possible.
Can you confirm that the child lives here?
I don't know that information.
But the child was with family.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Cool.
All right, anybody else?